What's up guys, Houndish here, and today we're jumping in with a little bit of Destiny 2 news, and today we're jumping in with a little bit of Destiny 2 news, and ahead of Season of the Wish, Bungie have gone ahead and given us an update regarding the final shape. Of course, initially, we had rumours that final shape would be delayed, although that was pretty much taken as a fact. However, today, we can confirm that yes, final shape is delayed, and Bungie have got a press release regarding that date. But they also talk a little bit today about some of the content that will fill the gap during Season 23, which of course is going to be an extended season. We've only ever really had one of them in the past, at least in Destiny 2, and that was Season of Arrivals. And that will be happening again as we lead up to the final shape, but Bungie talk a little bit about some content that they'll be pushing into the game before then. And so that does include some event content, but also a new content drop, new quests, but also the PvP map pack, and some content that's sort of targeted at returning players. So we're going to jump in and talk about it in the video. A bunch of Destiny content creators also got the opportunity to get a few more insights and speak with Bungie today about what we can expect in the next few months. So I do have some extras to talk about on that front as well. But we'll start out with Bungie's announcement. As always, I hope you guys enjoy the video and find it useful. But now let's get into it. And so from the press release right here, the final shape release update, they say, we'll keep it short and simple. The final shape needs more time to become exactly what we want it to be. And so the plan is to move the release date to June 4th of 2024. And so the rumors that we've had for a few weeks now are actually true, and June is the scheduled release date for the final shape. It's good that we at least have some clarification about that, but they go on to say the final shape is the culmination of the first 10 years of Destiny's storytelling, and for Guardians everywhere, countless hours spent together. And they say we want to honor that journey, so we're taking the time we need to deliver an even bigger and bolder vision, one that we hope will be remembered and treasured for years to come. But naturally, this change brings up questions about our upcoming release calendar, and they say Season of the Wish begins tomorrow and will extend until the launch of the final shape in June. And while the majority of the content and narrative for Season of the Wish will run from late November to February as originally planned, the team is adding new content available to all players to jump into until the launch of the final shape. And so firstly, in February, they say it will include new weekly progression-based quests called Wishes, as well as the launch of Moments of Triumph with unique rewards. And next, they'll be moving Guardian games up to March with a refreshed focus on class versus class competition. And then beginning in April, we're delivering a 2-month content update, which is available to everyone, called Destiny 2 Into the Light. And this will prepare players for their Guardian's journey into the Traveler. All of this is in addition to the ongoing efforts from the PvP strike team, including 3 new PvP maps which are dropping in May. And so actually there are going to be a handful of updates right there between now and when the final shape drops. And essentially we'll have that initial sort of season period. As Bungie say, by the time we get into February, the majority of Season of the Wish will have concluded. But then from February, there'll be some new weekly progression-based quests, as well as the Moments of Triumph event. And of course the timing here is a bit strange, but it's stuff to do, I suppose. And it'll be interesting as well to see what the story focus will be for those wishes, as well as any potential rewards. But pretty soon after that, in March, we'll get Guardian Games, which really is sort of filling a gap. Of course, Bungie can make it potentially pretty interesting rewards-wise. And I think on top of gameplay, rewards will of course be an important component of that. But then it leads into April with what appears to be sort of the bigger component, or one of the more substantial bits of content, which is what they're calling Into the Light. And speaking with the devs today, they did kind of indicate that obviously they want this content to be engaging and to create reasons for current Destiny players to continue to play the game. But they also said it's good catch-up content for both new players and of course returning players. And so story-wise, I would assume that there is some amount of substance there, and hopefully we'll get some rewards as well. But for the blog post, Bungie say, we know you're eager to get your hands on the final shape, and in that sense, delays aren't fun, but for our part, we're excited to have the extra time needed to bring our vision for the final shape to life for all of you. And we're looking forward to sharing much more in April, including all new gameplay, and to showcase the significant content additions currently in development. So on top of the other sort of bits of content that Bungie have outlined, April appears to be a period where we're going to get even more information and previews for the final shape itself. And so give us your thoughts on that announcement in particular, guys, down below. It's good to have clarification about precisely what the plan is. There's also a video from Joe Blackburn where he goes into a little more detail about some of these content updates and things like that. So I'll link that one down below, but I was able to jump on a call with a bunch of folks in the community alongside Joe Blackburn and the community team at Bungie. And obviously Moments of Triumph is sort of self-explanatory, as are the Guardian games, and we'll see what the rewards and things like that are there. But While there isn't a lot to add, it definitely would appear that Into the Light is the more substantial piece of content that will fill the gap between now and Final Shape, at least after the Season of the Wish content calms down. And they've said that primarily, of course, the focus is on making the Final Shape as good as it can possibly be, but they definitely see this as an opportunity to continue to engage players, but also to perhaps bring lapsed players back on board and to flesh out the new player experience because this content will be free to play. They'd also spoken about the map pack, and we now know that that is actually planned to release just before the Final Shape in the kind of weeks leading up. So for PvP players, there's more stuff there. And they've said in terms of the maps that they're developing, currently there are 3 of them, one of them on Europa, another for Neomuna, and even a pyramid map, which could be pretty interesting. We don't have a ton of insights about it, but they have said that they've used maps like Javelin 4 as a sort of reference for the scale and the size of the map, as this enables Bungie to use those maps on various different game modes. But in general, in reference to the Final Shape, they've said that that is their absolute core focus, and while they have got content updates between now and then, they know that that's a pretty critical moment for the franchise overall. And they said as well, there's particular focus around the fact that they know they need players to engage with the game and need new reasons to jump into Destiny. So obviously with some of the fatigue around the seasonal model and the very expected Destiny content, the proof will of course be in the pudding, but the indication is that Bungie are aware that players are less engaged in Destiny right now, so they're definitely focusing on bringing players back into the game. Otherwise though, beyond the Final Shape, episodes are still the format that Bungie want to work with in terms of seasonal style content, and they will be rolling out after the Final Shape roughly on a similar timeline in relation to the expansion as what they'd indicated before. So I believe that was around about a month or so after the Final Shape, according to the original press release. So once the Final Shape does come out, that episodic content will follow fairly swiftly. And the devs also said that each of the acts inside of the episode should feel meaty, with a bunch of the chunks of kind of typical seasonal content, but essentially more of it more often, creating more reasons to log into the game. So those are some additional insights. They also announced, by the way, that the new dungeon for Season of the Wish is called Warlord's Ruin, so I'm very curious to check that out. But for today, guys, as I gather my thoughts following the meeting we've had today, and of course the press release for the Final Shape, there isn't a whole bunch more that I want to say right now. It's good to have confirmation of exactly what's going to happen. Obviously, the PvP map pack dropping before Final Shape is good. Getting some of the annual events like Guardian Games, even Moments of Triumph, is content right, but otherwise, in terms of how much players engage with the game beyond sort of February, it'll definitely depend on the quality of those wish quests that they mentioned and the Into the Light content drop. And obviously, we won't really know how good those are until we get them, so we'll simply have to wait and see. But the overall goal, as Bungie have said, is to make the Final Shape as good as it possibly can be. And the indication is that they feel for the moment that the additional time that this delay has brought them is enough to bring that quality bar, the consistency and the amount of content up to the level that players expect for an expansion. So we will simply have to wait and see. But there we go, that is the news. I'll keep you posted as always when we get more information. Otherwise, we've got Season of the Wish kicking off this week, so definitely get subscribed, stay tuned to the channel, give us your thoughts down in the comment section about the announced delay and the content that Bungie plan to push in the meantime. But otherwise, I appreciate you tuning in, and I hope you guys have an awesome day.